Let's discuss my payment.
That time is past. No 5,000 for you.
The price is 50.
How about your payment is you get to leave?
Not enough.
Oh, you think you can negotiate with me? I say the word, my nephews go to a certain motel, pay a visit to your daughter-in-law and your little granddaughter. What do you think happens then? Consider your position carefully.
I got my money. Or neither of us walk out of here.
You willing to die for this?
Maybe I need the 50,000 more than you do.
Beefs are bound to happen. As long as humans here in the world, you're going to have beefs. It happens every time period, every city, every industry. For example, in the 80s and 90s in sports, Michael Jordan hated Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas hated Michael Jordan. And once Michael Jordan retired, he started hating Scottie Pippen. Friends who then became enemies. And that's interesting because that's typically how it starts. Friends become enemies. And that's common in the world of acting and comedy. You see, when everybody is doing comedy at first, they may be colleagues, they may be friends, but then certain things get in the way and then people start falling out. And some of the greatest comedians of all time, at least in the last 20 years, have been on public display on podcasts in the last few years, especially on Shannon Sharpe's podcast. We've seen Ricky Smiley, we've seen Steve Harvey, we've seen Cedric the Entertainer. But I believe we can all agree, none of them, all of them together wouldn't be Cat Williams. And this is me as a Cedric the Entertainer fan. I like Cedric the Entertainer a whole lot, but he's not Cat Williams. So when Cat Williams came on the podcast, or at least when it was released a few days ago, Mom started going through the internet, the black internet. And we're going to talk about some of the people we talked about. Michael Blackson, of course. He got on Earthquake. He said Earthquake couldn't read. Can I get a ooh sound effect? He talked about Diddy wanting to be a cheek clapper, booty clapping sounds. But most importantly, he talked about Kevin Hart. And that is what I'm really going to focus on right now. And even when I'll get to Steve Harvey, but he talked about Kevin Hart mostly. But let me get to Steve Harvey. Rewind, Nima. Steve Harvey, to me, is very untalented as a comedian, and he's known as a hater. Now, I've tried to play too much of what Cat Williams said over on the Shannon Sharpe podcast for copyright reasons, but he also said Steve Harvey's a liar, Steve Harvey's a hater. No, he wasn't broke. No, he wasn't poor. Even back in the 80s and 90s, he was getting $3,000 a show cash. And every chick that he said he was married to, he's always praising that lady for her success. He said it about his first wife, same thing about his second wife. And now he's saying he owes all his success to the third wife. But he ain't the only person that says that Steve Harvey is a liar. Let's check out what Corey Holcomb had to say.
Last time I hosted a show, Earthquake told the promoter, let the other nigga bring me up because I know why. I'm rocking this mother. And then you got to go up after that? Stop.
Hammer time.
I heard too much about Steve. Promoter coming.
Steve a hater, dog. He is not finna let you shine, dog. When I was a young comic, that cut my time down to 5 minutes because I was too funny.
He did JJ bad.
What'd he do to JJ?
He damn near said, JJ damn said he like blackballed him a little bit.
I believe. I ain't never heard nothing good about no mother Steve Harvey. You got on your name, and I've had experiences with you, and I already know. If you was around me, you would be uncomfortable because I'm not going to fold in front of you.
Now, we're going to get back to that in a minute because this isn't the first time we've heard Cat Williams or Corey Holcomb or anybody in the industry say these things about these people. Now, he also mentioned Ricky Smiley, that Ricky Smiley did a lot of lying on the show, saying that, he was supposed to be Money Mike and all of this. But what I want to get to is I want to talk about what he had to say about Kevin Hart.
Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you.
So basically, Kevin Hart is an industry plant, right? And let me kind of read what Kevin Hart said. He says this: "Gotta get that anger up out you, champ. It's honestly sad. In the meantime, please enjoy my movie trailer to my next film, Lift, which will be dropping on Netflix in 8 days. There's a moment in the trailer where Gugu Botharoth says, 'They really love you,' and I know she's talking about Kat. Mark your calendars, world. This one is special." Now, this is very interesting because if Cat Williams wasn't anybody, then why are they responding? Because if it was me making these claims, they wouldn't respond. But it's Cat Williams, they gotta respond. Cedric the Entertainer, who is known for stealing jokes, started saying that, he's too old for this and, things like that. But he's not addressing the claim, He did steal his joke. I saw it. He stole his joke. And the same thing with Ricky Smiley. He's like, look, man, I just want the best for Cat Williams. So the question that I want to talk about now, is this hating? Is this jealousy? Or is this the truth? Here's what I believe. Everybody ain't hating. I believe that what Cat Williams is doing is the truth. Cat Williams in his pinky finger, and I like Cedric the Entertainer, right? So I'll leave him off. And I even like Ricky Smiley for a certain extent. But let's just be honest. Cat Williams is on a whole nother level. Earthquake, I like him too. Michael Blackson is not that funny. So there's no reason why he needs to hate on any of these people, even Kevin Hart. But I believe he's talking about things that happen because people like Steve Harvey, they're in the industry. But in Hollywood, in places like that, it's not always the person that makes the most money or gets the most jobs that actually becomes the wealthiest. It's also about the person who might kiss the most ass or who might be willing to hate on somebody else. And Steve Harvey is a hater. It's he's definitely not even funnier than Corey Holcomb. And we already know that that's true. I believe that what Cat Williams did is he really came out and exposed a lot of things that people have been thinking about. And of course, I'm seeing people saying like, oh man, they shouldn't do this as brothers, man. They should come together. Stop the show. Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you, dealing with I'm just gonna be honest, dealing with some of these brothers out here and in the black community, you can try to work with them, you can try to do something with them, but I'm telling you, unless you put the heat on some of these Negroes, they're not gonna respect you. And this is what needs to happen. Sometimes shit gotta get funky. Sometimes it gotta hit the fan. Sometimes it gotta get called out. And if people don't like it, everybody not going to get along. We are men. Conflict sometimes is necessary. And beef is going to be necessary. It's people on YouTube right now that, I might not speak on, but, hey, I've conflicted with them and it's necessary. It's bound to happen and everybody not going to like you. And some people just need to be called out for the fake stuff that they're doing. And that's what this man is doing. And I honestly believe he ain't got no reason to be lying on them or lying on anybody else, because again, some of these other things that people are saying, I've heard some other folks say that by just searching celebrity. I just played one of the clips. Corey Holcomb is another person that comes out and says things in the same way or the same vein as Cat Williams. Let me also talk about people like Corey Holcomb and Cat Williams. The talent with them is undeniable. But here's what they're not willing to do. They're not willing to sell their soul just to be in Hollywood. They're not willing to sell their soul just to be up there with the rest of those people. They're not willing to do that. And to get promoted in Hollywood, it ain't about your talent. It's about how much soul, or as Cat Williams said, whole booty clapping sounds that you're willing to sell. And I mean, we all know the industry is dusty. Corey Holcomb has been said it. Cat Williams has said it. And that's why people love him so much. And again, I've seen all the comments. Everybody is on there talking about these brothers need to get it together. They need to stop beefing. They need to come and shut up. Let these dudes fight. Let them fight it out. They've been not getting along for years. It's too far gone. People didn't hate it on other people. You know what I'm saying? And people didn't did dirty things. So it ain't gonna never be cool. And sometimes it's gonna be like that. Sometimes it's gonna be beef. Sometimes it's gonna be war. Sometimes it's gonna be on site. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's gonna be to the point where, okay, well, we'll just leave each other alone and go our separate ways. And that's the best opportunity too. But he had to address it. They the ones that came onto the podcast and mentioned him. He came on here and ethered all of them. He didn't broke the internet, and I say good job, because all of them right now running and going to their Instagrams and Twitter responding to it because they know it's true. That's why they're doing it. If it was lying, they wouldn't need no reason to respond to it. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Shay Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.
What?
Kill it.
What? Do it again really quick.
What?
Is that where you think it really goes?
It's throat spray. Where else am I supposed to spray it?
This
Is
is
this
your
my fault?
This is your fault.
Did I fail you? It's throat spray.
Let me know if it works.
It's throat spray.
Anna.
It's throat spray.
Ocho, you remember a couple of days ago, I think it was like Saturday or Sunday, I said, I just sat down, I have an interview.
Yeah.
And I said, it's going to be the interview of 24.
Oh, yeah.
I said, he's going to break the internet. And people are like, well, who is it? They're trying to, who is it going to be? Is it going to be LeBron? Is it going to be President Obama?
Right.
I said, but this guy and what he said, I said, it's gonna surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the interview that I'm talking about, is everybody's talking about it, is the Cat Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to line this interview up since about the end of 2022.
Yes, sir.
And he's like, I don't know when I'm going to be on your side of town.
Yeah.
But I'll keep that. I'll keep that in mind.
Wait, now, so you had this brewing? You had this brewing since 2022?
I've been trying to set it up. So basically all the 20, I ended up getting this interview at the very tail end of 23. So I'm sitting on that like, man, and I'm telling CJ and I was talking, he's like, what do you think? He's like, it's gonna happen. I was like, I don't know. I said, all I can do is reach out, I can ask.
Right.
And he hit me back. Let's do it. And I remember telling, I said, CJ, Cat Williams people hit me up and say they want to do it. He's like, for real? I was like, yeah, for real. I said, whatever we got, so whatever we have planned, I don't like them. I said, let's just clear it out, because I don't know what day. It might be a Tuesday, it might be a Wednesday, it might be a Thursday, it might be a Friday. But clear it out, because whenever the guest is available, let's do it. Right. I did Chris Brown's interview at about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night at his place. So there's not a time that in which, if I'm not working at First Take, that I'm not available. Right. So if you want to do it at midnight, we'll have a team there to shoot that footage at midnight.
That's live.
So he comes in. So I get there. I try to get there a little bit before the guest. CJ we might have some last minute. Okay, CJ. Okay, I kind of got a feeling of kind of how I want to go. I've moved some things around from the questions that you came up with and I came up with. but I've moved some of the stuff around because I think it just feels better. When I was going over this last night, it just felt better to go in this sequence. He's like, okay, hey, I trust you. You trust me. Just go with your feel.
Yeah.
So I get there. I'm getting mic'd up and I'm just talking. And he comes in. So he's already on one. He says, I've been waiting a whole year.
Right.
To say my piece.
The right space and platform to say his piece.
Yes. Now, a lot of people have said, oh, Shannon left so much on the table. Shannon is not a journalist. I've never said I was a journalist.
Right.
If you listen in my intro, I said, normally what I say, the person that's coming by for conversation and a drink, I'm a conversationalist, not an interviewer. It's a different space. He said, you've allowed other people a very safe place. That's why we like coming.
Keyword, safe.
Safe place.
Safe place.
I've also said on numerous occasions, if you want 60 minutes, if you want Dateline, if you want 48 hours, I'm not the place for you. Go to those places and get those type of interviews. Go to Lester Holt. Go to Nora O'Donnell. Go to, I'm not Mike Wallace, rest his soul. I'm not Ed Bradley, rest his soul. Or Dan Rather or Walter Cronkite, rest their soul. Tom Brokaw. That's not who I am.
Right.
So if you want those type of interviews, you need to go to places that have those type of interviews.
Right.
Now, the problem is Cat Williams was my 102nd interview conversation on Club Shay Shay. He was the 102nd. Nobody said anything. Oh, but Shannon, you left this on the bone. I've had Magic Johnson. I've had Steve Harvey. I've had Michael Blackson. I've had Cedric the Entertainer. I've had DC Youngfly. I've had a lot of people. Nobody said anything about pushback and follow-up questions until I got Cat Williams on. And this thing took off like wildfire. And the people that's commenting is like, you got 200 followers. You can't be a journalist with 200 followers. Because even people that don't know the journalists, they got at least 4,000 or 5,000. You're upset that he said everything that he said, and he said it on my platform. And now it's bringing attention to my platform. Just like I've had Ricky Smiley on. I've had Steve Harvey. You didn't say anything. I didn't push back about Steve when he said things about in his marriage. You didn't say a word. When he spoke about his daughter, you didn't say a word. I asked Cedric about did he steal Cat Williams' joke. You didn't say, Shannon, you didn't follow it up. I've asked Ricky Smiley, volunteered. He said, I didn't ask him. He said that he was originally supposed to play Money Mike and Cat was supposed to play Santa Claus. He said that. You never said a word about follow-up questions, and I left so much on the bone. It wasn't until this video, which is almost at about 11 million views in less than 48 hours. Yes. Now, mind you, Ocho, Steve Harvey's done 9 million views. Who else? DC Youngfly is at 4 million. Ricky Smiley over 3 million. Magic Johnson over 2 million. I mean, a lot of these videos have gone viral and had viral moments. Nothing is caught fire like this. This is what's upsetting them because first of all, he wasn't going to go on it because they don't know. He doesn't want to be. He wants to have a conversation. He says, you've allowed everybody else to come up here and say their piece. The hardest thing for me, Ocho, as the interviewer, was the way he started. My thing was, do I interrupt him and get this thing back on track or do I let him go?
See, when you're interviewing somebody like that, and with the safe place that you do call it, the fact that it's Cat Williams or Cedric the Entertainer or any of these polarizing, iconic figures, you have to let them get their piece and say what they need to say. That's the whole point of you having a platform and him willing to come on your platform to be able to do an interview and tell his truth is you got to let him go. You can't steer it. You can't steer this one.
And so he did 30 minutes before I asked anything. Where you from? How this, your dad, your mom, brothers and sisters. But he wanted to get that off his chest. And people say, no. He says, the truth doesn't need motivation.
Oh, no.
That's what he said. He said the truth doesn't need motivation. He said there's there's God's way and there's that. And if it's not God, it's the wrong way.
Yeah.
So while all you guys said, well, Shannon, you needed a follow-up question with what? I said, I didn't ask no follow-up question when said he didn't steal the joke.
Right.
That's not for me to decide. You decide. You decide who do you agree with. That's not my decision to make.
Right.
I told you when I first started this, my very first interview was my brother. I said, my job, I'm going to try to bring you some of the biggest celebs, entertainers, and athletes that I can possibly bring. And I'm going to allow them to have a conversation and maybe tell you something or share something with you, Ocho, that they've never said, or they've said it such a long time ago, you don't remember it. But I want that entertainer, that celeb, or that athlete to share some things with you and give you a different glimpse of who or she or who they are, he or she. That was it. I never said I was a journalist. I never professed to be a journalist. I'm an entertainer. Yeah, I have entertainers. And again, if you want hard-hitting questions, 60 Minutes is the platform from you. Right. Dateline, 48 Hours. Go to Lester Holt. Go to somebody that does that.
This you got to understand. Those aren't safe places. Those aren't places where you can get what you want to say off.
Right.
They dictate everything.
Yes. So
when you go that route.
Ocho, you make a great point. So let me ask you this. You think Cat Williams was going to open up as much as he did on any other platform?
Absolutely not.
If you go back and look, what's the longest? I mean, when we look at it, what's the longest interview he had done? Cat. Now, mind you, I haven't seen anything he posted on his social media page since 2020. Since 2020, right? That's 4 years ago. No post.
Yeah. Nobody else. I mean, the whole point is it's almost like barbershop talk. Being able to sit down with you. Listen, I sat down with you and we talked. You had to kick me. You had to kick me out. You had to kick me out when I did Club Shay because I was in such a
you like, we done?
Yeah, I was ready to go now. You know, I can talk.
Ocho, I had you on. Ain't nobody say, well, why didn't you ask him about that situation that happened in Miami? Why didn't you ask him about this? Ain't nobody said anything. You've almost said 6 million with Coach Prime. Well, you've been married this many times. Nobody said a word. It wasn't until I got Cat Williams. It wasn't until this thing took off like wildfire. It is all across the internet.
And it is more so about not only the traction, but it's what he said and the controversy that is stirred up. So now everybody has questions, their truths, their facts. That shit was awesome. That shit was awesome. I enjoyed it. Obviously, I know Cedric, I know Steve, I knew Bernie Mac back, when Mac was alive. Goddamn, I got some stories about Cat. I'm gonna tell you that a lot of people in the chat watching a lot of stuff that you probably didn't even know yourself. But we'll get to that later on when we get into it.
And look, I'm not saying we the best of friends, but I talked to Steve Harvey.
Right.
I got Steve Harvey's number in my phone. I got Cedric's number in my phone. I got Kevin Hart's number in my phone. Earthquake and we talk the most. I can look, and I'm friendly, cordial. I've been to Kevin Hart's house, been through his house, met his wife, just saw him the other night at another function. Showed me his cars, had conversation with him. Yeah. We're friendly. Yeah. Earthquake and I met Earthquake about 6-7 years ago. We've been cool ever since. He called, sometimes Earthquake would just text me, brother, I just called to say I love you. Keep doing your thing. Shine, shine, king. Shine, big, shine, black man. Stuff like that. Hey, I got this thing. I'm at this comedy. Hey, swing through if you get a chance to. Right. So he and I have a different type of relationship than the other guys. Right. But do I talk to Steve Harvey? Absolutely. Have he invited me to his farm in Atlanta? Yes. He invited me to I think it's Dubai. He has a golf tournament Thanksgiving. Hey, I want you to come. So I have a great relationship. So it's hard on me. Yeah. Listen, I understand. I totally understand where you're coming from. But obviously, when truth is being told, you were just the moderator in between giving the individual the space to tell their truth. That's it. There's no hard feelings towards those that you already know, whether you know them personally or whether you just know them as associates. And I really enjoyed it in the fact that you give us
a space to be able to tell our truth on your platform, it's
Right.
not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And
Right.
there was no space for us to be able to do that.
Right.
And the fact that now we do have one, and this is going to be a trickle effect. We not only did you have Cat Williams, but it's going to be somebody else after that. It's going to be somebody else after that, and it's going to continue to have that effect where, you know what, I have things I need to get off my chest. What better place to do it than on Club Shay's platform? Who's not going to judge you?
No,
he's gonna ask the questions he needs to ask and allow you to say what you need to say. And that's it. It's simple.
And the thing was that, and Cat asked me, he's like, well, why didn't you ask Ricky this? I said, Cat, normally when people are giving you information that you've never heard or no one else has ever spoken, you feel that he was in that situation. He's giving you pertinent information. I have no reason to believe Ricky Smiley is lying to me.
Right.
Just like when you say something, when you're telling me this, and this. Now, I knew that he was homeless because I talked to Terry Crews. I've known Terry Crews. Terry Crews was on the team with my brother in back in 91.
Right.
So I know T. Crews.
Right.
And he was on the movie. He was a fill-in in Training Day. His actual role was, if I'm not mistaken, was next Friday. So I have a relationship with T. Crews. And so for me, that was the hardest part, is to hear things. But I said, you know what? I didn't expect, you know what? I knew it was a good end. I knew.
Oh yeah.
I kind of knew, but I didn't know.
Now there's Cat Williams. Now there's certain people that you can get that's gonna move the needle. Now there are certain people you can get that's gonna move the needle and move it big.
Ocho, this thing is doing about 500,000 views an hour. I knew it. I thought it would. CJ told me it's going to be bigger than Steve Harvey. At the time, Steve Harvey was about 8.8 million.
Whoa. Where was I at?
You behind time. You and time are tied at 5.8 million.
Okay, I'm coming back. I'm coming back on Club Shay. I got some controversy to talk about. Yeah, I'm finna outdo Cat. Fuck this.
unless you show up butt naked, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can beat Cat, because Cat's almost at 11 million and we're not even 48 hours in. And so I remember rapping the interview. Now, mind you, Ocho, I still got 20 to 30 minutes worth of questions left.
Right.
The interview is 2 hours, 46 minutes, and 5 seconds. And we didn't cut anything.
Right.
And I remember finishing up, and I look back. CJ is always sitting behind me, and I remember looking at CJ, and he's shaking his head. And I'm like, what? He's like, Shannon, this is going to break the internet. I said, you think so? He's like, Shannon. He's like, Shannon.
Yeah.
So Jordan's shaking his head. He's looking at me like, everybody, the makeup, everybody's looking like, I was like, man, okay, they say it's that good. Okay, I'm gonna take it. Because when you in it, Ocho, you in it. You don't, and so, bro, we drive, says, okay, when we go, I say, CJ, we're gonna drop it in the new year. That's why I start. So I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna tease it. I'm gonna say, I'm dropping one on Club Shay.
Right.
I promise you, it's going for someone to be better than this and to be bigger than this. President Obama is going to have to come on your podcast and says, I'm running for a third term. That's the only thing that's going to possibly be bigger. And he's going to come on mine and say that. So that's that.
Right. Yeah.
When we dropped it, we got 121,000 people watching it live in the chat, Ocho. So I'm like, okay, this thing might do 1 million, I say it's going to be, I remember calling CJ, I said it's going to probably do 2.5.
Right.
Ocho, I wake up this morning, we're at 5.2.
Come on now.
I was like, what the hell? I'll say, now I got to refigure. I say, okay, it's going to lose some steam.
No.
Ocho, we probably
got to make it around the block first.
Now I'm thinking this thing might do about next Wednesday. This thing might do 20 million views.
Yeah, most definitely.
It might do 20 million views.
My mama died, man. I just let somebody. Damn. I just did somebody, man. Bitch left her. Damn. I just did somebody. Damn.
We are all in awe with super talented individuals in their God-given abilities. But of course, just like the rest of us, they tend to struggle and struggle very much. And today's show talks about two of Hollywood's most known African-American actors and comedians who both have their individual struggles, parallel of each other. First, there is Cat Williams. We all know about him. He recently was on the Shannon Sharp podcast. It got over 13 million views, and he called out a myriad of comedians. People like Ricky Smiley, Cedric the Entertainer, Martin Lawrence, Kevin Hart, and many more. But then there's Tiffany Haddish, who might not be as talented as Cat Williams, but she's had an array of problems. Can't keep a man. She got dumped by Common. She can't keep roles. She keeps getting dumped by studios. And she's, can I get a rec sound effect, Nemo? She loves drinking and driving, and there's allegations that Cat Williams can't stop using drugs and drinking himself. As much as Cat Williams and Tiffany Haddish are different, the allegations of them are similar. A lot of people will say they didn't live up to their own expectations because of their own demons. Let's start with relationship demons, and we'll talk with Cat Williams. His ex-girlfriend Hazel E had some pretty interesting things to say about him just a few weeks ago.
Cat Williams, he's so little.
He did choke me out once, and we had like a whole little legal thing. And it was like at New Year's at Soho House. It was like a quick, and that moment got corrected and rectified through attorneys.
How much he paid you for a choke?
A lot of gifts, my booty. I had got my BBL. I had got a Porsche that day, like a $65,000 cash gift.
For a choke?
Cat holds his own for who Cat is. I don't expect Cat to be like Shaq and then be like Cat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me?
Cat.
Cat is Cat, and Cat got Cat.
So you're saying the is proportionate to the body.
Right.
And no, this classic rant that Cat Williams said about Hazel E.
Middle of a conversation 13 years into the marriage, then so be it, nice lady. You should have whatever the you're trying to get. But you know that's not what you offer, nice lady. You so quick to come home and tell me, I didn't talk to none of them. That ain't what you say. What you say is I didn't talk to none of them broke ass. You know why? Because you made sure they were broke first. You still checking your options faithfully. Ain't nobody fooled by you. I used to have a just like that. I always tell me, I never another man while I you. Yes, but you ate 39 random vaginas. Knock it off with your half-faithful. You knee deep in every time I talk to you. I know I laid the out for you. You know what I'm saying? I hate people that don't tell the truth, and they won't tell the truth when you need it the most.
But the same thing can be said about Tiffany Haddish, who got her second DUI in 2 years, and she got tired of being used by friends in the industry. Then people thought she was falling off, and she had to come back and say this.
Don't ask me to do shit. Oh, she's a nice person. Tiffany's so nice and so sweet. That nice shit. That nice shit. Tired of being nice to you raggedy motherfuckers. And y'all lazy. Lazy. Stop being so lazy. I'm just tired of people playing with me.
And then recently, she did a comedy show at the Laugh Factory, and the Laugh Factory is important because she admitted to the fans she's struggling with alcohol addiction.
Are concerned for my well-being, and I want to say thank you for all the prayers and all the concerns. Thank you to the people that woke me up. And I'm woke. I'm free of everything. And she doing good. I'm out here enjoying what God made.
So how does this come about? Well, Rewind, Nemo. It all goes back to that Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp. Now, both of these people have their own individual issues, but Cat Williams mentions Tiffany Haddish in this clip, and it is taking a shot at her because it is taking a shot at her. Let's play the clip.
Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club.
So Tiffany Haddish was in the comment section of Hollywood Unlocked when this dropped, and she said, "I am not mad. I just wish he'd get his facts right about me. Dang, I guess I will send him a reminder text. But are we sure that it's Cat Williams? He looks a lot like Charleston White." Can I get a sound effect? Well, I mean, guys, stop the show. Let's take a picture of Charleston White and Cat Williams and let's put it side by side. Now I want you guys to vote in the comments, yes or no. Does Cat Williams look like Charleston White? Jeopardy music! So guys, you let me know in the comments and make sure you subscribe, hit the bell on this channel to let me know if you feel like Cat Williams looks like Charleston White. But I'll give you my personal opinion. There's no way that Cat Williams looks like Charleston White. And that was the point that Cat Williams was trying to make all along. What are you trying to say? That Tiffany Haddish is not a good comedian. Nobody comes to see her. Nobody cares about her comedy. She is a no talent. That is what he's trying to say. There's no way that Tiffany Haddish can go to Shannon Sharp's podcast, Stop the Show. I don't even think she would even be invited, because nobody cares about what Tiffany Haddish would have to say. But that's the whole point of what Cat Williams was trying to talk about, that these people who are in the industry had to do something to get there because their talent wasn't there. He simply said when it came to Tyler Perry and Ricky Smiley, the only roles they're good on is in dresses. He said that Kevin Hart was an industry plant, although Kevin Hart is a little funny. He talked about Cedric the Entertainer. He basically said, like, wait, these guys who were there are not that good. And I do like Cedric the Entertainer a whole lot, but he's not Cat Williams. And what he's talking about with Tiffany Haddish, we can all agree. Tiffany Haddish is not talented. So my question is, what did Tiffany Haddish have to do to get on? Jeopardy music! Let's play a game of Negro Era, shall we? Did Tiffany Haddish A, have to do something strange? B, do something strange? C, force some change? Or D, all of the above? Well, some of you may say D in that situation. If she didn't have the talent, well, how does she get on? And Cat Williams makes it very clear that, well, in this P. Diddy clip, that if you wanted to get on, you would have to do something like this.
And he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need another one? You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Cat, bad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, but you know, some of these people...
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Kat, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner, you my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We gonna do it together.
So this is no different from what Corey Holcomb is saying or anybody else is saying. The reality is that we all see that Tiffany Haddish is not selling out Netflix shows. She's not selling out, for the most part, comedy shows. Nobody considers her to be a great comic, male or female based. And he's giving his opinion, which a lot of us that like black comedy would consider Tiffany Haddish to be somewhat maybe entertaining, just not funny. And I think that he has a very good point. It's not to offend her or anything. She might be hardworking and she might have levels of talent that we may not know about when it comes to comedy. That's not really what she does very well. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.
Number one, I'm not looking for any woman to love me. I'm looking for a woman to respect me. That's number one. Number two, I don't cheat on any fucking woman, because any woman that is fucking with me knows that she's not the only one. And even if I'm not fucking with anybody at the current moment, there's always a possibility that you will never be the only one, because I'm not that kind of nigga. Now, as far as respect goes, I'm not trying to be respectful to a woman for the sake of the woman. I'm trying to be respectful because that is the type of manner that I choose in cultivating my masculine identity. It's not about preserving the heart of the woman, because let me tell you something, bro. You know that whole happy wife, happy life? The reason why it doesn't make any sense is because you can never actually make a woman happy. The only thing you can do is figure out who you are and be that man consistently. And if that woman chooses to believe in you, then that will make her happy. The belief that she has in you, and that belief that she has in you is only as strong as your ability to be consistent in your own fucking character.
Scarface quit his job.
Still waiting on that heifer, Julio. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.